Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bourbon Note. I'm Greg.
I'm Ben.
And today, we're not drinking a bourbon. We're drinking not only a rye, we're drinking a Tennessee rye. Is that a thing?
Yes, it is. It's a thing, and we have it right here on the bar. Do you want to see it?
Let's
bring it on out. We've got, bam, this is Jack Daniel's Bonded Rye. All right, we're fans of Jack Daniel's in general.
Yeah, okay, I will admit it.
Yeah, the couple of ryes we've had.
From them.
Yep, have been really good. So this is an exciting one. We haven't had this yet, but we have had the regular bonded. And
it was Whiskey of the Year, Ben.
According to Whiskey Advocate, yes it was. And we had the triple mash.
Yeah.
So this is
that was fine.
The third in their series of 700 ml bottles that have this label.
Was this 700?
I think so. The other ones are.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
So it's got to make it taste different. So, all right. So, all of you who are neck pour aficionados, what happens when the bottle's smaller? Is there more neck pour or less?
The size of the bottle, you're getting the relative to the size of the air. I mean, it's got to be a thing, right?
Do that math.
Yeah. On the nose, this is great.
Thank you.
I think this has like a really nice. Are you getting like a cherry, almost like a cherry cola vibe?
A little bit, yeah.
Nose.
Some vanilla, I mean, but there's also like a wet grass kind of note.
Well, there wasn't until you said it.
Like, you know, you're mowing the lawn in the rain, and why are you mowing the lawn in the rain?
Fresh cut grass?
Yeah.
I can maybe see a little bit of that.
It smells good, though. I mean, the takeaway is I have very high expectations, and they're only going up. This is, admittedly, be careful with it, it is like a $38 bottle. Maybe less.
Really?
I think so.
I thought they were cheaper than that.
Well, I think maybe I paid mid-60s for two. Like, I bought a bourbon and the rye. So maybe 34, I don't know. Something like that.
Okay. Well, let's get into the taste here. Okay. Cheers. That's really good. I like that.
Everything else that is sold is garbage. Just by that.
So is this Whiskey of the Year? This is the Greg Welch Whiskey of the Year. This one, so I said there's kind of like a little cherry cola vibe on the nose. Mm-hmm. In an odd way, there is, I don't know, maybe cherry is the wrong word, but definitely
in the Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, or kind of a cola Dr. Pepper sort of vibe, yeah. And
Mr. Pibb, if you're from Texas.
Sure. And I might be being influenced a little bit by the 107 proof rye that we had from them recently, which I love.
Yeah.
And I found that note on that one, so I could be looking for it, but I think it's there, and there's a great sweetness. I'm not finding like the traditional rye, like clove, allspice, licorice.
Black licorice, not that.
Yeah, so I'm not getting any of that. Just a really good spice, but just kind of wrapped up in sweetness.
For the longest time,
yeah,
I was reluctant to try rye whiskeys, thinking they would be bad. Mm-hmm. Until we started a channel about bourbon. I like bourbon, but I really enjoyed a number of different bourbon or rye styles that we've had recently.
Yeah.
Definitely like finished ryes, no doubt. I think rye as a grain takes the finishing well and works well with port finished and rum finished and so on.
Yes, I would agree with you on that.
But just a really good rye from a good distillery at 100 proof, and we don't know the age, but it looks well aged. Mm-hmm. I mean, we know minimum 4 years, but I mean, it's probably way more than that.
Yeah, I would say that this one falls into a good kind of mid-range category. I think this works for like a bourbon lover who's just trying to get into rye a little bit.
Sure.
The proof is nice. It's really good. Mm-hmm. It's not like, blow your socks off like the barrel proof rye, but it's really good.
Yeah, okay.
I mean,
Maybe it's not.
But this is the type of rye flavor profile I really like.
Me too.
I like some of the hardcore ryes that have, like 90% rye or 95. I'm assuming this is lower than that. But this one, when you get that really good mix of like...
Can you explain that for maybe new viewers?
Sure. Like, so...
Mash bill wise.
Rye, yeah, mash bill wise, rye has to be at least 51% rye. But it's not uncommon for them to be like 95% rye. And that's when you get the really, really hardcore rye flavors.
Yep.
These ones
we think
this
one is...
probably on the lower side.
Yeah.
And some places will make like a 51% rye, and then the rest is corn.
Like
a little bit
45% corn.
Yeah.
So it's very bourbon-like.
Yes.
And this kind of falls into that category.
Yeah.
And 5% malted barley, they seem to always do that.
Yep. But I don't know where I was going with this.
Yeah, nobody does.
Anyway, but this is really good. I'm getting some of the traditional rye vibes are starting to show up a little bit, but they work well with the sweetness. Oh, what I think what I was going to say is that when you get a good rye that has that nice rye spice and the sweetness that leans maybe a little more towards bourbon, but sometimes like the vanilla that you get out of a good rye, the blending of that sweetness and that spice, when you can get one that kind of, at least for me personally, that kind of like sits on that fence, I think that's kind of a good lane for me for rye whiskeys. So
I'm getting some flavor notes that hint at flavors, and this is one of my favorite things about just sitting down and having a pour.
Sure.
Is when something kind of like hints at it. It doesn't fully deliver, but like there's a little bit of mint, like just a subtle, like you kind of get a little, and you can kind of see it going toward wintergreen or whatever, but not just a wintergreen flavored something, because that would be weird.
That is a tasting note I've heard thrown out a handful of times, not very often. I don't get it very often, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm getting it off of this one. Until you said it. No. Yeah, this is a good down the middle rye, I think.
I think it's great.
I think this would make a killer like old fashioned or something like that too, like a rye old fashioned. A little extra sweetness. Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I thought you had to follow the rules.
No, you can do whatever you want.
Oh.
I think this one would make a good cocktail.
Oh.
Because it's got the nice spicy flavors, it's got the sweetness, the 100 proof is going to hold up to the mixers, you know.
Sure.
So overall, I would say this is a recommend.
Oh, total.
All right. Well, this has been Jack Daniel's Bonded Rye on the Bourbon Note. I'm Ben.
I'm Greg. Till next time. See you next time.